Now this dish has a few unique ingredients that make this something really special. One of them is called Kanafeh, and this is a Greek word for loosely meaning bird's nest. That's right. This is similar to phyllo dough, if you've heard of that, but this is actually the same type of dough. It's made from semolina, and it is very stringy, and we're going to be using this in the dish. We're also going to be using pistachios. You could use any type of nut, but they're very typical here. And last but not least, we're going to be making a flavored syrup with some rose water, and we also have a little bit of orange blossom water. The one ingredient that makes this dish so unique is called Kanafeh. Oh, I practiced that. Anyway, this is loosely called bird nest. That's right. It's very similar to phyllo dough, but if you can't, this is better. This is authentic. So get this. But it is it will be cooked up and it is wonderful. This is the main ingredient in our kanafeh. Now the second ingredient that is core to this recipe is cheese. And you can use a wide variety of cheeses. We're using mozzarella and ricotta today, of course vegan. You can make your own or you can buy it. After we make this dessert, we're actually pouring on a wonderful simple syrup that I'll show you how to make. And then we're going to top it off with very typical ingredients of this area, pistachios, but you could use any nuts that you have in your area. But typical here, pistachios. As I mentioned, we're using 2 cheeses in this recipe. Mozzarella that we got from our friends at Upfield, but I'm making a homemade vegan ricotta. And this is a simple recipe. I'm just gonna make some noise now, pulse. Now, this is the perfect texture, and I just wanna show you, this is what you're looking for with the ricotta. You want it to be a little bit chunky, not too smooth, but still perfect for this recipe. So in my bowl, I'm going to be combining both of my cheeses. Now we're making our simple syrup that's going to be poured over the dessert. And we have just a couple of basic ingredients with a little twist at the end. So we're going to be using 2 cups of sugar. And to that, we're going to be adding some water and lemon juice. Bring this to a boil, then let it cool, and afterwards we're going to be adding the special ingredients. We have a combination here of orange blossom water and rose blossom. You could use any type of flavored waters like these. They're easy to find in well-stocked pastry shops and online. Now all the sugar has been dissolved. I'm letting it come to room temperature, and when it does, I'll add our rose water and our orange blossom water. So here I have my ricotta and my mozzarella, and I just want to mix these together well. Now we need to prepare our pan for our kanafeh. And I do like to use vegan ghee. If you only have vegan margarine, that's fine, but vegan ghee is higher fat content, means all of the water has come out. And what I love about this one is, once again, our friends at Upfield have provided us with one that they make. It is so versatile and easy, and I just like to use a pastry brush. It's so fantastic. Whoa, I got so excited, it sprayed me. But it's easier than a paper towel or plastic wrap. There's no waste. This can be used for vegan hollandaise, vegan bechamel. This is so fantastic. If you can get your hands on it, I recommend it. As this dough comes out, it comes out in these long strings. I mean, it looks like silly string or angel hair pasta. It goes on forever. We don't want to have it be like this because it's hard to cut. So with a fork when you're eating it. So I like to use kitchen shears, and it makes it much easier. You can use a knife, it's your call. Don't cut yourself. And this dough is very easy to dry out, so you always want to work with it when it's at room temperature. But you just want to take it out of the fridge and not let it dry out because it's so fine. So you just want to keep shredding this up until you have it all into little bits. Now, once it's all cut up and you're happy that it's shredded to your liking, now you take your vegan ghee and you pour it over there. And you want to combine it. That's all we're putting in there, those 2 ingredients. And you want to make sure you get the ghee coating all of the Kanafeh. Kanafeh. If you need to add a little bit more of your vegan ghee, that's fine, but start off with the recommended amount. So the most important thing is to get as much of this coated as possible, and now you want to put half of it and press it firmly in your tray. You're making the bird's nest, that's right. Almost like you're making an Easter basket. So you want to push this down. It's not that important right now because we're going to be using our mixture, half mozzarella, half, and then the ricotta. Smells so cheesy. Now you want to firmly push this down with your hands so you get it. The cheese, this is like making almost like lasagna, Kanafeh lasagna. We're layering it. So we have on the bottom the bird nest, the Kanafeh, and now the rest of the bird nest. You don't have to choose this rectangular dish. You can put it in a round dish or anything you like. Whatever you do, make sure that you push it down really well before you bake it. That will make it much easier to cut and eat. Now just pop it in the oven. Now our syrup has cooled to room temperature, and I'm just going to pour in, remember, our rose and orange blossom water. Just combine that. This is the syrup that we'll be putting on our Kanafeh after it cooks. What's great about this dessert is, one, you can make it the day ahead of time, 2 days ahead of time, and it keeps for a while, either in the refrigerator or in a dry place, a dark place at room temperature. So it does store well. We haven't tested it with freezing it, but it absolutely is something that will last at least a week in the refrigerator, if not longer. It also can be eaten hot or cold. Once again, versatile for picnics, holidays, and any type of get-together you'd like to enjoy. So now I baked this, I just took it out of the oven. I just want to show you that gorgeous golden brown color. Now, you don't want to let it go any longer than this because this is very delicate and will burn. So you want to let this come to room temperature, and then we're going to be pouring on our rose and orange blossom sugar sauce. Now, as I mentioned, this dish is so versatile. You can eat it hot or cold. So if you want to eat it hot, you're more than welcome. You would just pour about 1/3 to 1/2 of your sugar syrup on top here. Now, I want to eat this cold, so I'm letting this cool. And what I like about that is if you cool it and then let it sit in the refrigerator overnight, all these delicious flavors meld and it makes a much more cohesive dish. But if you can't wait, you can eat it straight away. The last thing about this dish that I really love is it's so versatile, because sometimes here in class, we have students that say, oh, that dessert's too sweet, and some people think it's not sweet enough. But what's nice about this one is you can customize it for yourself, your friends, family, relatives, whoever, because we're putting the sugar syrup on afterwards. So you do want to put some in there, because remember, in this right now, there's no sugar. So you want to put about 1/3 of this in. And then what you're going to do is reserve the rest of this, and then people can put it on the side. So it's kind of like a dessert like coffee or tea, but people can customize it with how sweet they want it. Now this is cooled down to room temperature. I'm going to be pouring on my simple syrup. As I mentioned, pour about 1/3 of this onto here, and we're going to be covering this up, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. You can top this with the nuts. If you prefer a wet, like more soft nut, put the nuts on now. But if you like your nuts crunchier and a little bit more intact, these are toasted, you can put them on tomorrow when you cut it. It's totally your choice. I am going to put my pistachios on tomorrow. So now, just cover this up, and we're going to pop this into the refrigerator overnight. You know, Jessica teaches how to make the ultimate chocolate chip cookie, and she makes the dough, and she tells people to put it in the refrigerator overnight. So only the people who are really, really, really interested in the most flavorful and delicious flavor can wait, because their cookies are so good. But I encourage you, please make this ahead. Please try putting it in the refrigerator, and I promise you, the flavors are gonna meld, everything is gonna be going in there, you're gonna get the rose and the orange, and you'll see waiting a day is worthwhile. Now remember how I told you you can invert or flip this if you like. That is a very common way to serve it. It's not required, but it does take a little more skill. You just wanna have a plate or a pan, you can use anything you like, that's bigger than the size of your pan. And then if you've ever made anything upside down, pineapple upside down cake, anything in the world, you just want to make sure, remember we loosened this up with that Upfield wonderful vegan ghee. And now I can, as I'm pushing this down, I can actually feel how it's releasing. So I know the sides are all good now and released. You really only get one chance at this to make it, it's always going to taste great, but in terms of making it look pretty, you only get one shot really. So now I have loosened all that. I want to put this on top here and invert it. Now, voila. And now we're going to be coming back and pouring on our syrup. So before I cut it and serve it, I just want to show you the height and the gorgeous golden brown edges of this. That's the perfect color you're looking for. Not too dark, you don't want to burn it, but we want this golden brown color. And remember, this is like your edible bird's nest. It's the Kanafeh. And now we'll cut it. I do want to show you two different types of plating. I already have this cut into, and you do need to gently cut this in a sawing motion. So, because our bird nest, remember, we inverted this, and the bird nest on the very bottom is still a little bit loose. So that's the bird nest, or the Kanafeh, is on the bottom here, and it's a little bit messy, or a lot messy, but that's what makes it fun. Now, I've just created what you can see about the size of the square, and there, I'm gonna put it straight here. You can serve this, this would be a nice full single serve portion, and then remember, you can either serve this on the side, or you can even just pour it on the around here and have it soaking in the syrup. Now the second way we're gonna do the plating is with almost like, think of it like little sushi bites. That's right, little itty bitty slices. Think of like sushi rolls, but Kanafeh. So there you go, you can see an up close and personal shot of my Kanafeh mini bites. Or also, you can eat this in a much larger single serve portion, completely your call. And in here, we're embracing Middle Eastern food, we're tying culture and family, we're never sacrificing flavor. Because in here we have that vegan ricotta, we have the mozzarella from Viole, as well as that fantastic Upfield vegan ghee. And then we're having our toasted pistachios and the rose and orange blossom syrup right in the middle. But now it's time to put one of these babies in the mouth, the taste test. So good. Let us know if you make it.
Between these walls, see the lies between the lines they hide, where the bullets coming from.